Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah.
Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this move in a bag of a can. I can make it around the world with the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
You're now listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Heisman Trophy winner and Florida State legend, Mr. Charlie Ward, Wave 3 TV, and Furniture Hall of Famer Kendrick Haskins, and Mr. Talking Noise himself, and of course Mama Noise's man, Lloyd Smith. And now, it's time for BLEAV in the ACC.
Good morning, everybody, for where we are and what time we're recording this show. It is morning, so we're all up and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Okay, maybe not bushy-tailed, but definitely we're up and bright-eyed.
You and Charlie looking clean. Look at y'all.
I mean, listen. There's a lot of competition on this show for, visual appearance. You be coming with the fresh teas every week. This week also included, as he is not. Now, while I appreciate the tea, let's not act like it's not going to get the button.
And that was a humble flex.
I was apprehensive about wearing this shirt.
I mean, it says local legend. What did you expect was going to happen?
It was a gift. It was a gift.
It was a gift. I appreciate the gift. I appreciate the person that gave you the gift. But I think Charlie and I both would agree. Thank you, Charlie.
I can't even fight you on it.
You really can't dispute that.
I can't fight.
And also true. It's also true. So there you go. Now, we can't ignore, if you're watching us online, we can't ignore Charlie's background right now. So we do have to ask Charlie, okay, are you safe? Like, what's going on?
Right. Are you like in an asylum?
What's going on, Charlie? Talk to us.
We're here at the church, Emmanuel Baptist Church, where we'll be having our second annual championship breakfast. And so that's tomorrow morning. So we're here, got here early to help do a little bit of the setup for the podcast. So that is where I am. I snuck into a room with some chairs. I turned from the wall because it looked like I was somewhere that I don't want to be. So I changed the scenery a little bit.
Okay. All right. Listen, podcast on the go is can be challenging at times. So I get it. I understand what you're doing, Charlie. So I just didn't want our viewing audience to go, is Charlie in trouble? Are they holding prisoner? What's going on? So there you go. There you go.
Holding court.
He's holding court. There you go. And he's with the Lord. He's with the Lord. So all is well. All is well. All is well. So listen, we are here this morning. We got a great show for you. A great week of football in the ACC, and so we'll get into that here in just a second. But not just looking at the games, but usually, at me being a former teacher, usually right around this time in the school year, we would give out something we all are familiar with it called progress reports. And the progress reports weren't necessarily detailed. It wasn't about your A's, your B's, C's, anything like that. It's just simply saying you're on the right track, maybe not so much. You might need to, fix some things, adjust some things so that you can have a successful year. So today we're going to do a little bit as we evaluate the game. Going to give you guys a little pass or fail. And not necessarily just overall, but maybe in some specific areas for each team. So we'll talk about specific things that the team needs to maybe do to improve, or they're on the right track. They just got to keep going. And everything is going to be all right for that team. So with that being said, let's jump right into the games. The week 5 game results. What do you say?
My progress report used to ask my mom what's wrong with her child.
Well, mine used to say he's talking too much. Like his grades are fine, but can you just tell him to be quiet? Like, but I didn't think that was my fault, because like if I'm done 20 minutes into the class, you need to give me something else to do. It's your fault. That's bad planning.
I had a teacher say he always looks like he's not paying attention.
That was me. I was a daydream.
Yeah.
So we got, hopefully that's gotten better over the years. I tried to be a much better teacher than that, and always come over prepared. So if a kid got done, like, here, do this now. Stay busy.
That's some busy work.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's start with the Friday night game, which, by the way, turned out to be way more than probably all of us expected it to be. Mm-hmm. Virginia Tech, I don't know if they felt inspired or the rivalry aspect of it. It felt like the old Virginia Tech-Miami rivalry games. And it was a good game that Miami had to fight to get. And maybe we discovered a little bit more about Miami.
Yeah.
Than we did Virginia Tech.
I mean, Miami, they're a good football team, as you know. And defensively, I don't think it was so much of their defense as opposed to Virginia Tech's offense, and even vice versa. I think the game was, Miami was behind pretty much the whole game until the last possession. And so I just thought it was just high-level football from a offense and defensive standpoint. Guys making plays when they needed them on both sides of the football. And of course, we all like scoring, but we also like, just good competitive football. And, with Miami having to dig deeper than, most people wanted them, as far as being down like 10 points with 5 minutes or whatever so to go on the clock. That was kind of frightening for, those, Hurricane fans. But I just like to see how teams just continue to fight, continue to put plays together, grind to be able to get to where Miami got to, because they had to dig deep. They had to score, then they had to get a stop. And so they did all those necessary things to get the win, and then Virginia Tech comes down and gives themselves a chance at the end. Just good quality football all the way around, and then it came down to the call. Well,
before we get to the call, I do want to just real quick. Cam Ward was Cam Ward, 343, 4 touchdowns, but then he had a couple of un-Cam Ward-like moments and 2 interceptions. But he got it done in the end. Led a phenomenal drive at the end. But Virginia Tech's running game is ridiculous. Like, is it Baishu? It's Baishu or Baishu Tootin? That kid is ridiculous. He had 141 yards. What is it?
Just go with Tootin.
Let's just go with Tootin. He was ridiculous. 141 yards, red touchdown on 19 carries. That's crazy. That's a crazy stat. But they pretty much control the entire game. But now I do have to ask the question to my brothers here: catch or no catch?
I say no catch.
Yeah,
but because I didn't hear the explanation until like a couple of days later that part of the reason why they ruled it incomplete is because the ball was moving around and there were bodies laying out of bounds, so that's why they ruled it incomplete, which was the right call. I think we found out a lot about Miami, and I think the easy path is to say maybe they're not what we thought they were because they played a tough team and it was close. But that's not my thought on it. My thought of it is we finally saw Miami face some adversity, and they overcame that adversity, and they came back. I mean, that last drive. I mean, the guy makes a catch laying flat on his back for a first down. Cam Ward just makes a play out of nothing. It's tight. I think it was his tight end he hit when he just turned around and just kind of threw it out there like that. That's fight, and that's overcoming adversity. That's one of the things we wanted to see from this Miami team, to see if they are for real. Virginia Tech, for me, Virginia Tech, this is what frustrates me about Virginia Tech. Because we'll see this from time to time. Then in the next game, they're liable to go out there and lay an egg.
Right, you beat by 30. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I want to see the consistency more from Virginia Tech. I wasn't surprised that they played so well. My thing is, will they play that well this week? And then, and I said, I saw a lot that I wanted to see out of Miami, which was overcoming adversity in the game. Because you're going to have games like that. I mean, Charlie's here. The year they won a national championship, they had games like that.
Yeah.
Not every game was a blowout against lesser opponents. Sometimes it just stuff happens.
It happens. Charlie, catch or no catch?
To me, it was a no catch.
Okay.
Because I think he had it for a moment, but when he came down, the ball was still moving around, and then it actually ended up in the defender's hand. Which to me, they have to coach that up a little bit better, because it shouldn't have been a catch it at all. Like, somebody should have been trying to bat the ball down.
Right. Why are you making a play on the ball? That's the first problem. Yeah.
Why they trying to catch the ball is a whole nother deal. But like I said, I just thought it was a great attempt. I think, in practice, I know when we used to practice those Hail Mary plays, you very rarely get them. But if you have a chance to get one, it's like, success. And my Virginia Tech had a chance, to do that. They did a good job buying time and getting a good throw in a good area with everyone there. So, but I think Virginia Tech, this is what we expected them to be, though, early on. At the preseason, we were expecting them to be this good quality-wise, and they showed that against Miami on the road. So now what we're talking about is being consistent, playing this way all the time, so that they can at least have a chance. I think they still may be in the running, even with, I think, one loss in the ACC at this point, I do believe. But one loss can still get you in the mix.
I was just gonna say if that Virginia Tech team can show up the rest of the year, we can see a part 2 of this. Like, it's not unreasonable to think that team can't beat everybody else in the conference, or at least make it a great game in the conference. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens going forward with Virginia Tech, and can they sustain that level of play for the rest of the year. The other big game that happened this weekend was actually a very strange game that you happened to be at, Kendrick, which was Louisville and Notre Dame. You got a chance to stand in front of Touchdown Jesus last weekend. And this game got off to a bizarre start in that, and not just on one side of the ball, but everybody was making a lot of mistakes. And it really just came down to 2 things: who could make the less mistakes in the game, and who could the team that dug the deeper hole get out of that hole. And it turned out they couldn't. So Louisville lost that game 24-31. But what were your thoughts being there?
First of all, that's my first time being up to South Bend. The atmosphere was incredible. It was awesome. We got a chance to see the grottos, Touchdown Jesus, all that stuff. And I say the atmosphere is, I mean, it's top notch. It's as good as it comes. The campus is gorgeous. It was. We had a good time. As for the game, it was like Louisville outplayed them in every aspect of the game. It's just like 4 or 5 plays it came down to. Like, the hiking the punt over the punter's head, Shuck breaking for a 45-yard run, then fumbling at the end of it.
Right.
Then the odd play calling when it's 4th and short, and you put your power back and try to bounce him to the outside twice. I'm like, what are we doing here? But then to get a delay a game on the last drive of the game, and their reasoning for that was the crowd noise. It was like, it was loud the whole game, and now all of a sudden you having a problem with the crowd noise. You didn't have any false starts all game. You handled it all game. It was just a botched communication. It's just Louisville did everything to win the game and lose the game. And I felt like the game was more about Louisville's mistakes than it was with Notre Dame. Don't get me wrong, Riley Leonard played great in that game. Notre Dame made some big plays, and they capitalized on Louisville's mistakes. I mean, they scored 21 straight points after they fumbled on the opening kickoff, and U of L scored on the opening drive. So hats off to Notre Dame from again, they battled through adversity and won the game. It's just Louisville's got to clean up a lot of that sloppiness going forward, especially coming into this week against SMU.
It was a strange game. It's not often a team out passes a team 264 to 163, out rushes a team 131 to 117, and out receives a team 264 to 163, and they lose. They lose, but this is what took place in that game. Charlie, what were your thoughts on that one?
Well, I didn't actually get a chance to see it, but minus the score,
right?
Sound like from the commentary I got from our text chain, it sounded like one of those games where 2 teams were competitive. And it came down to, like you talked about, who made the least amount of mistakes at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. And when I was looking at the score, Notre Dame was up, a couple touchdowns, or they got that cushion. Yeah. And so when you're playing a competitive team, 2 teams competitive, it's those moments. Like I tell my guys, all the time, like when you're playing teams that are like you, talented, very good, well coached, all the different things. If you can get a spurt and you can get a cushion, then you can, that could be the difference, because in the end, it could be a 2-point game, or it can be a 6-point or 7-point game in one possession. And now the team that had that spurt is the one that all you got to do is either get a stop or get a first down or continuous first downs just to run the clock out. And so I just think when you do have those mental errors, whether it's at the beginning of the game, middle of the game, or the end of the game, in competitive games, you can't have those. And then the score looks like, man, they were right there. But in actuality, those few possessions killed them. Yeah.
So Miami and Louisville passing right now, as far as total team efforts. I still don't feel any different about Miami and Louisville as far as their long-term everything. I think they're still in line I think their goals are still in front of them. They're both, Louisville didn't do anything to, change my mind, and neither did Miami.
That's like we said last week. This game was more crucial for Notre Dame than it was for Louisville. Louisville still has everything in front of them. It's not a conference game. They can still win the conference. They're still 1-0 in the ACC. So, you want to get that win, but in the long term, it was Notre Dame can't lose again. Basically.
Well, I was going to say, I think this may end up being the one thing that potentially could save Notre Dame's playoff season, because if Louisville does what we think they will do for the rest of the season, and then let's say they even beat Miami. Now you got a team that looks really good on Notre Dame's resume, and that they can hold up for the playoff and go, see, we beat this team, and they're really stinking good. They're in the ACC championship, or they're, this was the win Notre Dame had to have. They survived it. It wasn't pretty because, past those 21 points in the first quarter, they did not move the ball well. It wasn't a great offensive game. It didn't look pretty, but they survived it. That's all. Like you said, Charlie, sometimes that's all you can do. That's all you can hope for, and that's enough. They made enough plays. And ironically, you didn't see the game, but lost Charlie. Ironically, he didn't see the game, but he nailed it when he said they got the play at the end of the game with Riley Leonard getting the first down and sealing the game at the end. So it happens. It's just part of the par for the course. So good grades for Louisville and Miami in to start out the season. Boston College. This was first of all, shout out to the great Kendrick Haskin, local legend, as he's showing us here. He cost me this game. Or did we pick? I'm trying to remember what we picked. No, we both picked Boston College. We ended up picking Boston College. We almost picked Western Kentucky. Mm-hmm. But I now understand, having watched that game, why. Because, and then here's the other thing. None of us knew that Thomas Castellano was not going to be there.
Right.
So that when I saw that Friday night, I was like, uh-oh, Kendrick might be right. This might turn out to be really bad for Boston College. And in the first three quarters, it was bad. Like, it wasn't a great game for Boston College. It took Grayson James quite a bit of time to start calming down and to figure out what he was doing. And I get it, because he's young and he's just trying to figure. It looked like a young guy's game. But boy, he sure made some plays toward the end. And they righted the ship in the fourth quarter, got two crucial touchdowns, and were able to pull out the game. But boy, that was a tense game going into that fourth quarter.
Yeah, Western Kentucky's tough. I mean, to be honest with you, I was surprised that their defense showed up better than it has usually. They played well. They played pretty well to hold Boston College to 21 points, especially at home. But Western Kentucky is tough, and they didn't put up the offensive number. They didn't have the offensive output they used to have.
Right.
And so, yeah, they were right there. When I saw Castellanos was going to be out, I was like, Western can get this game. They led the game for three quarters of it, and just Boston College was able to pull it out there in the end. But kudos to Western Kentucky. I mean, they went on the road and gave Boston College everything they wanted.
I'm just glad that Boston College won.
You picked Boston College, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm just glad. So pass or fail on the coaching of Boston College.
What's their record right now?
4-1.
Yeah, they're past because they're new staff. I mean, they've won some games. The game that they lost was on the road to Missouri, which is top 10, I think. So
yeah, and they were right there in that game.
Yeah,
I think if you came into this season thinking that Boston College was going to be an easy win, I think you should rethink that. They're going to be there. They're being coached very well. The fact that they were losing this game the way that they were, and by the way, probably should have lost this game. Probably. Mm-hmm. And the fact that their coach found a way. I gotta give them all the props, and so this is a big pass for me on this one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I gotta say this. I have to be honest. I was actively rooting for the coach at NIU because I'm just a fan. I've become a fan of this guy. And they almost pulled it off as well.
They almost pulled it off again. Yeah.
They almost pulled it off as well. I don't know what to think about NC State at this point. I just don't know what to think about them.
They're in the middle of the road.
Nah.
I said they're in the middle of the road.
They're in the middle of the road.
It feels like that season could go either way at some point.
Correct.
They need NC State needs a big win.
Can they get a big win though? That's the question.
Well, that is the question.
Are they capable of a big win? Because what is the thing that they do well? They had 109 yards passing, 109 on 20 attempts. They had 67 yards rushing. So the only thing that you can say about this win is that they played NIU, and that's why they probably won. But it's a quality win because NIU is the same team that beat Notre Dame. So are they passing or failing as a team? It feels like maybe a strong I, a strong incomplete.
Yeah, I'll give it like it's not an F.
Not yet, but it's trending.
Yeah. It's like a C minus to D plus right now.
It's definitely trending in the wrong direction because there's something wrong, but to put your finger on it, I'm not sure you can yet. Because it's not one side of the ball. It's a total team effort right now.
But I mean, they're still 3-1.
Listen, they're 3-2, 3-2. So can't take that from them. But it's not a good-looking 3-2 at all.
Especially when you throw it 51-10 in there.
Right.
And if you're going by the way they've been trending all season, they should lose this Saturday because they win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win.
There you go. Well, speaking of teams trending in weird directions, Syracuse, one of the things we have discovered historically, that if Syracuse at home, they're probably going to win.
Especially in September. They'll beat the Chiefs.
Especially in September. Because what they're doing is setting you up for the downfall is coming much later. But right now,
it's a new staff, so we have to at least grant them that it is a new staff. So
it is a new staff. And I think they have found their quarterback. I listen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Kyle McCord, 100%. Sure. I don't know if you want him throwing 50 times. He was 28 out of 50 and 385 yards and 4 touchdowns and threw 2 picks in the midst of that.
You don't want to have to throw it 50 times against Holy Cross.
Right. It feels like a lot against Holy Cross.
Right.
Like you needed 50 passes to beat Holy Cross. Jesus, man. Jackson Meeks went off in this game. He was 10 receptions for 161 yards. But 50 times is a lot. That's a lot.
Right. Holy Cross.
Against Holy Cross. Is Holy Cross?
They must
have in dime coverage. Like, what are we talking about? I don't know.
Stout run defense by Holy Cross. Apparently.
Well, to Holy Cross's credit, Syracuse only ran for 125 yards, so maybe they have one of the greatest run defenses of all time. I don't know, but
because they didn't have the opportunity to run because they threw it 50 times.
50 times. That is a lot. Jesus. But yeah, Syracuse did get the win. Do you like Cal McCord, Charlie?
Yes, I do. I think he's a quality quarterback. I mean, he makes everyone better on their team.
Yeah,
it does help to have some pass catchers. But he is accurate for the most part when it comes to some of the throws that I've seen him make. And I mean, the guy's a winner. Yeah, he won at Ohio State, but that wasn't good enough. And so he's at Syracuse and he's doing the same thing. So I like him.
They're going to be tough to beat at home. I don't know if it travels yet, but it definitely looks good in the Superdome. Or Superdome, what is it? What do they call that place?
It used to be the Carrier Dome.
I was gonna say it was the Carrier Dome. I don't know if it still is.
I don't think it's the Carrier Dome anymore.
I don't think it's the Carrier Dome anymore. Yeah, I don't know what to call it now.
It was the Carrier Dome, which is an air conditioning company, and the dome didn't have air conditioning. And then they got the new now renovated. Now it has air conditioning.
Oh wow. I guess you could call this a shocker. Because none of us picked Louisiana to win this game. The Raging Cajuns go to Wake Forest and get the win. Hank Bachmeier threw for 254 and a touchdown and an interception, and they rushed for 218.
Yeah, man.
And they put up 38 points. Usually that translates to a win.
That seemed like an offensive problem.
Well, it's not an offensive problem, Charlie, because they gave up 257 yards and 3 touchdowns and 209 yards on the ground. So, no, this was not an offensive problem at all. The Raging Cajuns able to put 41 points up against the Demon Deacons and got the win. I be honest with you, it was shocking. I was like, really? I didn't even watch this game. If I'm being full transparent, I didn't watch the game because I assumed that Wake Forest would win, and I assumed incorrectly.
Judging by the statistics, it sounds like it was an arena football game.
It doesn't sound like there was a lot of defensive stopping in this game.
Defense was optional.
Defense was optional. Maybe more 7-on-7. But they got the win. So there you go. And then, of course, this one, listen, a rivalry game, you can never predict what's going to happen. And this is no different. UNC Duke played out like UNC Duke basketball. It was a tight one all the way through. Jacoby Criswell for North Carolina kind of found himself a little bit. Omari Hampton ran a lot more efficiently, and they almost pulled this one out. They got out to a 20-7 lead going into the fourth quarter, and Duke had to come back and win this game. You're grinning, Charlie. Why are you grinning?
Because you said they scored 20. It was 20-7, and the final score was 21-20.
Right. So, well, listen, I didn't say UNC finished the job. somewhere the wheels started falling off. Yeah. Well, either that or Malik Murphy discovered himself going to that fourth quarter. He only passed for 209 yards. And Star Thomas had to tote the ball like a lot. He had 30 carries for 166 yards, and his long was only 19 yards. But they pulled it off. Listen, they got the job done. Somehow they pulled it off. Is Mac Brown passing or failing right now?
I gotta give him a failing right now.
Yeah, he's struggling.
Yeah,
I like failing, but he's struggling. I personally, I think this will be his last year.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Because he's starting to ask questions in the middle of the year, like should I be here? It's not even the middle of the year, but
yeah, we ain't got to the middle of the year yet.
Yeah. So he's asking questions to everybody that listen, including his wife, Miss Sally. Should I be here? And so when you start asking those questions, it's in your mind, it's there, and it's tough, especially when you start losing. They lost to James Madison, the way they lost.
Bad.
Now losing games to, the crosstown rival, like losing games within itself kind of deflates you a little bit. So I think he's going to ride it out this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just call it the day at the end of the year. Because, he's had a good career.
He's had a great career. You could argue even a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's time, though.
So, I'll be like, hey, man, it's time for me to move on and do something else.
It might be time. But don't look now, by the way. Duke football 5-0.
Oh, they
Post
are.
Riley Leonard. 5-0. I don't know what kind of 5-0 they are, but they technically are 5-0.
Hey, 5-0 is 5-0.
Yes.
Like Bill Parcells said, you are what your record says.
You are what your record says you are. So there you go. So we got to give them a passing grade just on that alone.
Even if that 5-0, even if that 5-0 includes Elon, Northwestern, UConn, and Middle Tennessee.
Well, listen, pay no attention to the little man behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the little man behind the curtain. They are what their record says, like you said. Their record says they are. And the same can be said about Clemson. Their record says they're 3-1. Their passing in game says that they are playing good football. They're 2-0 in the conference, so they're doing some good things. Yes. The Tigers are back.
Since that first game of the season, they've been on fire.
They've been good. They've been good. I can't listen.
They were making defensively. I thought they were always pretty solid.
Yeah, no question.
You know, even in the Clemson game, they had their moments. First half, anyway. Second half, I think Georgia, they may have been on the field too long, and gave Georgia offense too many opportunities.
Yeah.
So, but since that time, I think both of them have been trending. Defensively, they've been trending really, really well, and offensively, our man Cade Klubnik has picked up his game, not only just passing, but you're starting to see him use his legs a lot more, which to me, in this day and age, you have to have a guy like that if you're going to be successful. And if you don't, you got to have an offensive line that's going to protect like no other, and then you got to have receivers that can get a little separation.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm talking about somebody I know really, really well, but I'm just happy to see, you know, Clemson get up off the mat from the first game and show that they're capable of, you know, playing quality football, which, you know, I just love Dabo Swinney. Like, I love his mentality. He cares about the kids. He does care about what people say, but he's going to do it what he feels, you know, is going to be best for him.
Yeah.
And so, and I admire that. And, you know, he's going to go down his way. And so I don't know what that leads to this year, whether he's able to compete with, you know, those top tier teams. But at least he feels good at night saying, hey, I think we have a quality unit and we can get it done. And, you know, regardless of what people are saying on the outside, because now people aren't talking about the transfer portal and all this, you know, these different things. And the young guys that are playing are mainly his guys, the guys that they recruited.
Well, when you're winning, everybody gets quiet. Everybody gets real quiet. Now,
I don't see them losing though.
I was gonna say, to be fair to the narrative, the Stanford quarterback went 9 of 19 for 71 yards. Didn't they they made a change, right? They put Justin Lamson in the game. I don't know if they did it late. I don't know, but they did make a change. So both the quarterbacks combined for 125 yards, which is a great day for Clemson's defense. And Michael Ford for Stanford ran for 122 yards. So it was a good effort. I think the thing to me that is making Cade Klubnik better is what Charlie said. He's running the ball very efficiently, and he's doing it. If you watch the game, he's doing it at key moments in the game. He's not standing back there waiting for something to happen or, you know, holding the ball too long. He's seeing that read to go and going. And that has been the difference that's kept the teams they've beaten off kilter. They've not been able to get a full read. A la Haynes King. Cade Klubnik is Haynes King 2.0.
You can't be Haynes King 2.0 and y'all the same age.
Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Say it with me, Charlie. He's a better Haynes King. Say it.
I ain't ready to say that yet.
Say it.
I'm not going. I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm not ready to put that out there yet, but
I will.
But I think he's playing good quality football. I just need
it has not been bad.
be
I
bad
have to
this
admit that, for
weekend.
sure. Yeah,
He's better than Haynes King. Just
Yeah.
say it. Say it. Lord.
I'm not going there yet. You're on your own on that one. Okay, so Charlie.
I'm not. I don't like failing. Like, failure is finding aspirations in the losses. So
I like
we
when you
have
put
to
that
find
spin on it.
aspirations in these losses, and
Mhm.
it's hard to find aspirations, but you have to aspire to do better, each and every week. But this week, SMU, they play really, really good football, which they've been playing. They beat TCU 66-42, whatever it was. And their defense has been scoring, as well as their offense. And the Jennings kid has been sensational.
Oh, man.
Again, he's been efficient with the football so far as throwing it. And he does a great job of running it, making plays with his legs. And FSU, offensively, it's hard to watch, because it seems like when we do get some more positive momentum, something is around the corner to rob it. Whether it's a drop, whether it's a missed block, whether it's a fumble, whether it's an interception, whether it's something that's right around the corner that's going to rob all that positive momentum that we may have gathered. And then defensively, it seemed like we allow teams to just go on these 16 play drives, or explosives, and so and then we have moments where we get stops and all things go well, and then if something happens on the punt.
Well, it was 14-9 at halftime. Let's be clear. I don't want people to walk away from this going, man, they're just so bad. For a half, they weren't horrible. Like, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. It just didn't, in the second half, it just, it just kind of.
Yeah, like
I do have to ask you this, Charlie. And I know this is a tough question to answer. But do you make a change at quarterback just because? Huh?
Yeah, DJ's hurt.
Oh, so he's hurt, and they're gonna make a change anyway. So
yeah,
they
have to now we don't have to worry about the change, and we'll see if Brock can revitalize or inspire some emotion. But the thing is you go back and, like I said, it's 14-9, and we had the football first, I do believe.
Right.
And the second half, and we get a drop interception.
Yeah.
And a short field right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean. Like, people are talking about the quarterback. Of course, everybody needs to play better. But he throws a nice ball, and the guy drops it, and it pops up in the air, and it's intercepted. So now the defense has to go out a short field, and then they're not able to bow their necks. Like, hey man, we got to keep them out of the end zone. They let them score in like three plays, whatever it is. So it's just that whole type of momentum. And like I said, when you're going through, most people, and I don't say all, but a good majority of people, when you're facing adversity a lot, we've all been there.
Yeah.
You kind of give in. Like it's not going to ever happen. We have this mentality. It's not going to ever happen. Our mojo's gone. Our body language is off, and that's all you need, just for a moment, especially in sports or even in life. That could change drastically the outcome. And so we're in that mode. That's what losing does. Like I said it somewhere. Losing just sucks sucks the life, out of you. And it's like a slow death in a sense.
Yeah.
And so you're just looking for something to help revitalize you. So you need some oxygen, and they just haven't been able to find that oxygen consistently, I should say, to help them, get over the top. But we need this weekend to be that oxygen. We need some oxygen 2.5, not even
2.5.
We need
Well, I'll tell you what,
2.5.
I agree 1,000%, Charlie. The most dangerous thing that can happen to a team that's trying to rebound and trying to recover are the here we go again moments of a game. Right. And that interception was for sure a here we go again moment, because it was just and again, it's tough to say this from a guy who threw 3 interceptions, but if you watch the game, these aren't all his fault. I know it looks bad on the ledger, but it's not all DJ's fault. But he's the guy that, unfortunately, this is what happens when you play the position of quarterback. You're gonna get it. It's you.
I'll say one of them. One of them was really a bad decision.
Yeah.
The last one.
I said not all. He's not completely exonerated.
Yeah, I do feel like things have just been snowballing on them. Like one thing goes wrong, and then 2 things goes wrong.
And then 2 things go wrong.
Four things go wrong. They haven't been able to stop the negative momentum when it starts. And you see that all the time, especially in basketball. You see that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And so they've got to figure out a way to get some kind of positive vibes going through the program right now. They need a win.
But I'll say this. This is really what happens when you're playing quite a few young and also inexperienced players. Yeah. You have these moments in games. So, you think about a lot of the guys that are playing now, whether it's on special teams, whether it's defense or offense, there are a lot of guys who have played some positions, but then there's some who are relatively new in this role of getting opportunities to play. And it kind of shows up at the wrong time. Like you get a three and out, or you get them to punt and get the momentum back, where you get a face mask call that gives them a first down to steal that. And it was a young guy, like a guy who this is his first year playing. And so it's just those moments that, you just keep going through the season. It's been that way.
It takes young teams a while to develop the next play mentality. They don't come into their seasons inexperienced and hardened, and prepared for bad moments. That's not how it works in sports. So that happens over time, and we just haven't got to that place yet where this team can overcome bad plays and not carry one bad play into the next play, into the next play, into the next play. And so they're just learning. Now, the question is, will everyone, and that's administratively, fandom, will they be patient with this team and allow them to grow? And can they turn it around this season? That's the real question. So it's failing right now. It's failing. It's it's bad, but we'll see. We'll see where it's going. And the only reason it's failing is because of the level of expectation that we all came into the season thinking that Florida State would be.
Yeah, what if Forrest failing regardless?
I'm trying to clean it up, but
it's sugarcoated. 1-4 with multiple blowouts. It's failing.
It's bad. It's really bad. And then real quickly in our I Believe games of the week, Arkansas and Texas A&M. If you watch this one, it was kind of a sloppy game. It was hard to watch at times. And it felt more like Texas A&M survived it than they won it. It just kind of worked out at the end. The game of the year, without question, I thought it was Colorado and Baylor the week before, but clearly Georgia and Alabama was like, hold my beer. Because this game was fun.
We got something for you.
Although it didn't look like it was going to be.
Right. That second half was crazy.
Brilliant second half by both teams. Shout out to Georgia and Coach Smart for who could have easily thrown in the towel and said, this ain't our day. They got our number today. We'll live to fight another day, or we'll meet them in the SEC championship. No, they wanted this game bad. And I thought the narrative was going to be going into Sunday morning that Coach DeBoer is no Nick Saban, and turns out he might be. Or at least
I'm just thankful for technology, because we got in the car, was on the road back from Notre Dame, and thanks to technology, I was able to watch the second half on the phone. And so
there you go.
He's screaming and hooting and hollering at every big play in that game. That was great football right there.
Fantastic ending to that game. And I got to listen, Jalen Milroe leaped up the Heisman board with one throw. That was, well, you know what? I say that, but was that more about Jalen Milroe's throw or the young 17-year-old receiver Williams
17
catch and move? Because that was a ridiculous move that he made after the catch.
The move
his yak was insane.
That spin he made. That was unbelievable.
More about the receiver. The quarterback did his job by throwing the ball behind. The receiver did all of the rest of the work, meaning he had to catch it, and then he finished it off with, a brilliant, just nice moves. I mean, that kid is sensational.
17
as a freshman.
6 catches for 177 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, he continues to show up in games, like when you need them. And so,
and by the way, shout out to the defensive back as well, who made a ridiculous play at the end of the game.
Yeah,
who's also a freshman.
Huh?
Who's also a freshman.
Which, by the way, just by proxy, we also have to give another shout out to Dabo. But say I told y'all freshmen can do it. Well, not all freshmen, Dabo, not all, but these two for sure did. So
is Williams really related to Serena, or was she just messing with everybody?
I gotta believe she was just messing with everybody, but I don't know. I was not able to confirm nor deny that. So we'll let her have it for now.
Yeah, let's go.
We'll let her have it for now. And then the pros.
Yes,
there was a game. They played it. It's over. That's all I can say good about that game.
That was the first time I've ever heard an announcer just be disgusted with the game. Al Michaels was so over that game at halftime.
but to his credit,
he was right.
It was a hard game to watch.
The line of the night was at halftime, and he said the referees have to go on Amazon and order new flags.
They threw a flag on every other play. He was just like, yo, we didn't come to see y'all. Can y'all calm down, please?
The flag on Lamb for taunting. And I mean, like,
that was just dumb. That was just a dumb. I don't know what that was.
Man. Nobody paid to see you.
At all. At all. So,
because normally I would be making fun of Lloyd because Dallas is beating them, 15 straight times or something stupid like that. But, even I was like, I'm just glad this game's over.
And then this game was interesting as well.
Won.
You picked the Cowboys, didn't you, Charlie?
Yes.
You can always tell who you picked. We lost Lloyd for a second. There he is.
No. Listen. I didn't think the Giants would win. That pick wasn't because I thought
they have a superstar though.
Yeah, it was just loyalty. That the loyalty.
He got hurt though.
Yeah, Malik may be out this weekend. He has not completed concussion protocol as of yet. So
but going forward, you have a superstar wide receiver. He's so good, he might save Daniel Jones.
Don't do that. Don't put that out there.
Please
in the atmosphere.
Please stop putting it out there.
Please stop that.
While y'all sitting there sleeping, y'all better stop sleeping on the Ravens. I know they should have only one loss.
Ain't nobody sleeping on ball.
Let me be very good, Charlie. I think the Ravens, and I heard somebody else say it this week, and I agree. I think they're the best team in the NFL. They should
say
be
that about somebody 2-2, but yeah, I mean, I won't say they're the best. I say they're playing the best right now.
You don't have an answer for that running game. I'm sorry, you don't. I felt so bad for that defensive back for the Bills, and when he went in and tried to tackle Derrick Henry and got his whole head knocked off and went into concussion protocol. Listen,
some stuff's not worth it.
First of all, you got to make business decisions.
Yeah,
you got to play a whole season, bro. Just take the L on that.
Y'all can be mad at me and film all y'all want, and I'll run these extra gases, but I'm gonna be able to walk tomorrow.
Listen, there's a quote. One of my favorite quotes is from the movie Remember the Titans, where the little black girl looked over at Coach Yo's daughter and said, "I do not care." And that's how you have to look at some moments in life. You're not going to get me killed trying to make this play. I don't care how you feel about me or my decision, but I would have made a business decision.
Yeah, if you're a DB and
Ravens look good, man.
If Derrick Henry has a good 20 yards head start, no, you just let him go.
Out of the way.
You just try to bring him up behind. Let him get past you, try to jump on his back, but you don't run up on that.
Not at all. That was not the right decision. So anyway, as a result of all of that, Charlie is at 45-8. Kendrick at 46-8. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming.
How do I have an extra game?
Strong 39-13. I'm coming. So there you go.
How do I have one more win but the same amount of losses as Charlie? I have an extra.
Well, because you got the extra Cowboy win from the I Believe game.
But he picked Dallas too.
Huh?
He picked Dallas too.
Right. And then he got the listen, my math is flawless, brother.
Doesn't seem like it's mathing, but I'll take the extra win.
The I Believe game is helping some people out right now.
I'll take the extra win.
Two I Believe games?
Huh?
Kendrick, did you pick two I Believe games?
No, you only get one. But I think you got one week, and then you didn't get the other one. So
the I Believe game doesn't count against our losses.
It doesn't count against your losses, right? It
makes sense.
It only counts towards your total. So
now it makes sense. So I'll take that lead then.
So there you go.
And you're not coming. You're 5 games back. You're not.
I'm 5 games back, but I'm trending though. I'm trending. I'm trending in the right direction. Okay. So this week's games, Friday, we are starting off with Syracuse and UNLV. This was at UNLV, and it is late.
Yeah, well,
it is a late game
out there. It's a weird time out there.
But UNLV, they played this weekend. I saw the score. I didn't really see the game, but they didn't have much of a drop off, did they?
UNLV's legit.
Yeah, no, they're ranked 25 for a reason. They are a solid squad.
I'm just
more impressively. Huh?
I said I was just trying to make a point. Like the guy left the team.
Oh yeah. Guy left the team and they put up 59 points.
I forgot about that. So there may have been a reason why they didn't pay him his NIL money. They're like, we don't need you anyway.
I just saw this sign from the game. I just saw a sign from the game that says, "Hey, Sluka, it's UNLV, not UNILV."
Oh wow. Well, listen, he did not help his case when they put up 59 points. That's not good.
Still got one. I'm still starting to think. I mean, they promised some stuff and they didn't come up. They didn't make good on their promises. So I don't want to put it all on him.
Two things can be true. They probably didn't fulfill what
UNLV. You would think UNLV would be great in NIL because they was doing NIL a long time ago. My favorite team of all time was probably an NIL.
They were ahead of the NIL curve.
I'm a purist, and so I totally get all of that. You know, I think who who was right, who was wrong. Just quitting in general in the middle of the season is not a good thing. I don't care.
I don't love that.
And I think did a Notre Dame guy just do that this week too? I think I just saw a Notre Dame guy just do that.
Guy who ended up I don't know if he quit, but he redshirted and is transferring. So I guess you can call that quitting. Just
yeah, because I think that's
like a bypass.
Matter of fact, 2 Colorado players just redshirted. For whatever reason, I don't know if they're transferring out, but they did redshirt, which is weird because I'm like,
I was curious.
Y'all are finally turning the curve.
It's weird to see. Like, when did players start being in control of their red shirts?
Well, this year. And like I said, it's cool. I mean, that's the way we are. That's where we are this day and age. But I was just thinking, and I need to reach out to somebody to probably figure this part out. Like, when someone decides that they want a red shirt, they come in, hey coach, I want a red shirt. We got 4 games. I want a red shirt.
It's the red shirt deadline.
And I may want to, transfer. Or I just want a red shirt. They don't say I want to transfer. I want a red shirt. Do they put them on the scout team? Like, I wonder if they put them on the scout team.
It's a good question.
That's a good question.
Say, hey,
I guess if they're staying, they can put them on the scout team.
I mean, you're not going to put them in where we're doing game stuff. Now, I'm standpoint on offense. Team. I wonder what scout play would they be.
Yeah, I wonder that too, because I'm trying to remember. I mean, we were all in college at the same time. If somebody redshirted and it wasn't a medical, or even if it was a medical red shirt, could they still be on the scout team back then? I can't remember.
I can't remember that either.
I
can't imagine.
I was redshirt. I was redshirt 2 years, but
yeah,
I mean, I was on the scout team for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I was on the scout team for 3 years.
Can you imagine Charlie on the scout team?
No, that sounds wild to hear. He was on the scout team. I would imagine all scout teams are not created equal.
Right.
All red shirts, I mean, are not created equal. And if you're saying I'm going to red shirt, but I'm transferring,
then they're not going to put you on the scout team.
I was going to say that probably means we're going to do something different with you.
Right.
Like
if you're red shirting and you're going to with the intent to stay,
that's different.
I would imagine, because I think because the rule is now you red shirt after 4 games.
Right.
Which basically, the way I interpret it, I could be wrong, but I think the red shirt means you can't play in games. But I don't think that means you can't practice.
Right. I think you should still practice. If your intent is to stay, though, that would have to be the caveat. I think.
So I would, and we can find out. I can ask somebody over at U of L, but
yeah.
I would think if you're redshirting with the intent to stay, because it's no different than a freshman just redshirting. I would
then it's fine. If you're gonna stay, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're not staying, I can't let you be around us.
Right? Yeah, that makes sense. But also, it's the NCAA, so who knows?
That also is true. At the end of the day, the NCAA's probably got some weird rule. You can only.
But right now, doesn't seem like they have any rules.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway, with that being said, who you guys picking?
I'm going with Vegas.
Okay.
Charlie, are you locked up?
Charlie, which way are you going on this one? Do we have Charlie?
I think he's locked up. It looked like he's having some internet problems.
He is frozen. He's on the frozen tundra right now. I'm going to go Vegas as well, though I don't know why. Like I would not be surprised for Syracuse to win this game.
I'll tell you why you're going Vegas. It's the same reason why I'm going Vegas. Because Syracuse is not at home.
That's the only reason. That is the only reason. You are correct. You are correct, sir. That is the only reason.
If this game was in upstate New York, we're going with Syracuse.
Right. Yeah. But to that same point, Syracuse has played. I mean, UNLV has played Houston, UTU, Kansas, and Fresno State.
They played Utah Tech.
Right. So
the mighty Texters.
The mighty Texters. Right.
That win at Kansas is a good win, though.
The win at Kansas is a good win. That's a good win.
I want to say the Fresno State is a good win. Let me see what Fresno State. Fresno State's 3-2, 1-1 in the Mountain West, and Fresno State's a decent team. Okay. And so they've had. It's not a world beating schedule, but they've had a pretty good schedule. They've got some good wins, and so I'm gonna go with UNLV. Looking ahead, outside of Boise State, I think UNLV is probably set up to run the table.
Run the table.
State game.
There you go.
UNLV. How are they not good at every sport?
Who are UNLV?
Yes.
It feels like somebody's not handling their NIL situation properly because
they need Tark Spirit to come back and show them how to do the NIL deal.
Right. I'm not 100% sure why things are not going well there at all. So Saturday starts with a really interesting game.
That is a super interesting game.
And SMU, who has been putting up a boatload of points.
Yeah, video game numbers.
Video game type points.
I will go out and say that's not going to happen on Saturday.
I gotta believe
Louisville's defense is for real. Louisville's defense is super. I mean, I think Notre Dame scored those 21 points in the first quarter, and then they only scored 10 the rest of the game.
They scored 10 the rest of the game,
and that's without Quincy Riley. Quincy Riley didn't play that game for Louisville, and so that defense is not getting the pub that it should. And I talked about it earlier in the season that this Louisville defense is for real. And so that being said, SMU's tough. SMU's defense is not only they shutting teams down, they're scoring points themselves. So Louisville cannot come out there being sloppy again, because it could be a thing of where, like it was last week, where the defense plays great, but they give up 30 points because the offense is turning the ball over. And so Louisville cannot be sloppy in this game. I think I'm going to pick U of L because they're at home. I think this is probably the toughest test that SMU has had so far. U of L does have a couple good games under their belt now. And so after playing at Notre Dame and the Georgia Tech game was tough too. And the game, they were sloppy against Georgia Tech too. So Louisville's got to clean up the sloppiness in these games. But I think they'll be okay against SMU. But I think that's going to be a heck of a game.
I think it'll be a fun game as well. I'm going Louisville on this as well. I just believe that Louisville is the better talented team, and that the talent will be enough to pull them through at the end of the day. So, give me Louisville at home, noon, 11 o'clock start for that one. Should be a good one. Okay, Boston College and Virginia. I have not heard if Castellano will be back.
That's the $1 million question right there.
That is the $1 million question. Shout out to Virginia being 3-1, by the way.
Even if he's there, I'm going with the Cavs.
You going with the Cavs at home?
Yeah. Let's say Virginia won me over last season, because with all the adversity they had going in last season, and they had all these one-score losses. They won me over last year, so I think they'll come in and say they're 3-1 to start this season. I believe in Virginia, even if Castellanos plays for Boston College.
Okay, all right. We got Charlie back finally. That's great. Charlie, before we go forward, UNLV Syracuse, who you going with?
I'm gonna go with UNLV.
Okay. And then Louisville SMU should be an interesting one. Who are you going with on this one?
I'm going with home team Louisville.
Okay. All right. So now we are at Boston College, Virginia.
Who did you pick in the SMU Louisville?
Charlie,
Lloyd, who did you pick in that Louisville game?
I picked Louisville. I think it'll be a good game, though. I think a team, that has proven that they can score, will probably score something. But will they be able to score at the same clip that they have been scoring? I don't believe so. So I'm gonna say that Louisville pulls this one out. Boston College and Virginia, Charlie. Kendrick just picked Virginia primarily, I think, because they're at
Virginia.
home.
I'm gonna go Virginia because they're playing at home, and not sure Boston College is. I mean, they're winning games, but they're not impressive wins.
Yeah.
I didn't pick Virginia just because they're at home either. I think I would pick Virginia on the road too. I
would pick Virginia outright. Okay.
Yeah. I believe in Virginia this year. I don't pick them to go to the ACC championship, but I think they're gonna have a really good season.
They're playing some good football. Although this is, according to the spread, a pick'em game. They're only a 1-point favorite, so this is
at
the
home.
definition of a pick'em game. So we shall see. Pitt and UNC. This is an 11 o'clock. Pitt is going on the road. They are 4-0. This is their first ACC game. With all due respect to North Carolina being at home, I just think it ain't there yet. And Pitt has their quarterback. They have their quarterback. So give me Pitt on the road, and maybe not even close.
Pitt should be ranked. If they're not, they may be ranked after this if they win this week.
Yeah. I'm going with Pitt as well.
I don't know. Is a UNC win impressive?
Well, some teams got to lose in front of them, but
yeah, I don't know. Wake Forest is trying to get back and get something going. Both teams are looking for their first ACC win. They'll play at NC State. I think Wake Forest can go to NC State and win this game. So I'm going to take Wake Forest on this one.
I might agree with you, but I'm NC State is a wild card.
They are,
trying to pick them to know how they're going to compete or play this each week. So I'm gonna go with you, Lloyd. I'm gonna go with Wake Forest.
I can't. Wake Forest is lost at home last week. So I'm gonna go with NC State.
They put up 41 points, and NC State is not like a juggernaut offensively.
No, they're not. But I don't think that Wake Forest is going to put up 38 on their defense either, though.
I mean, the total spread in this game is 54 points, which sounds about right. Like, it feels like they're going to do about 25 apiece or something, and somebody will get something at the end, and that'll be that. So we'll see. Virginia Tech and Stanford. This is a 3:30, 2:30 game.
Man, I wish Virginia Tech would just be who they were last week. And if they are that, then I'm going with Virginia Tech. And I just hope they're that, because I'm picking them.
I'm with Charlie. I'm like, they show that they can be every bit as good as we think they are.
Right.
But they've also shown that they can turn around and lose this game by 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go with them. I'm going to say they picked up some confidence in this game, even though who did they lose to the week? They lost to Rutgers the week before they lost to Miami.
Yeah.
So, Rutgers not bad.
They're not bad.
Yeah, right. We're finding out Rutgers is actually pretty good. So this is interesting.
I don't think they'll lose 3 straight games. And so
I got to believe Virginia Tech has found something.
Yeah, the quarterback was phenomenal against Miami too. So
and Stanford didn't really look that good. Stanford didn't look that good. So it feels like they're trying to figure some stuff out. So
I'm like Charlie though. I'm kind of hesitant, but I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech.
All right. Is this the game where where Florida State finally pulls it all together?
Well,
knocks off Clemson on the road.
I'm a sacrifice. I'm a sacrifice in hope.
Because last week your strategy of picking the opposite did not work.
No,
I mean, it worked for him.
I mean, it worked for you as far as points, getting points for our thing, but not necessarily so much, for Florida State.
Well, I'm going Clemson and hope that I'm wrong.
Understandable.
Lord, I just need to be wrong on this one.
You just need to be wrong. That's your prayer. This is your prayer. Lord, I need to be wrong on this. That's an interesting prayer, Charlie. Well, I think, with all due respect to your Seminoles, I think we all know which way we're going on this one. Let's go Duke and Georgia Tech. Now, this is interesting.
Well, I'm picking Clemson in that game too. I didn't get my pick.
I didn't need you to tell me that. I was.
Oh, now did my face give it away?
Well, yeah, that one was pretty obvious. That one was pretty obvious
for the audio audience,
right? This one is not as obvious.
No, it is not.
As the alarm sounds, let us know that it's not obvious.
I'm with Charlie on that one.
I like Georgia Tech.
I gotta be honest with you. I think I'm gonna go with Georgia Tech on this one too.
Duke is not going to overwhelm you in a lot of ways. So the game eventually, it's going to be close. You look at them against UNC, even though it was a rivalry type game.
Yeah.
But they're who they are. Duke has been that way all season. Like, they haven't scored a whole bunch of points. They played in some really tight, contested games. And this game, I don't think will be any different. With Georgia Tech. So, but I'm going Georgia Tech at home.
And
I think it just comes down to Malik Murphy versus Haynes King. Give me Haynes King.
Give me Haynes King, and plus Georgia Tech is more battle tested. You look at Georgia Tech's schedule. Georgia Tech has played some teams. They've played in some games.
It's been a challenging season for them, but they're doing all right.
Go with the more battle tested team at Georgia Tech.
And then with a 10:30 start time.
How is this game day? How's game day at this game?
This is unbelievable start time.
The ESPN game day game.
This is the game day game. I don't understand why.
They
but
just wanted an excuse to go to California because it's pretty.
Man, 10:30. Jeez. Miami will take on California, going out to California, which we will finally get to truly test my theory yesterday.
Yeah.
This game has a feel to it, though. I don't know why. It has a strange feel to it.
I'm gonna go with California.
I think I am too, and I think
wow.
Charlie, are you with me, Charlie? This game just has a feel to it. You can't explain it. Just has a feel to it, like an upset.
Yeah, Miami's defense. One of the things, California, they don't score a whole bunch of points, but they do move the football. Like, it's really strange and odd.
Yeah.
They did against Florida State. They moved the football a lot, but they only scored 9 points, which, is not good. But they missed two field goals, and they were in the red zone quite a bit. But I don't know. Like, Miami's defense didn't seem dominant against a quality quarterback, which Cal has. I think he's a very good quarterback, personally. And then defensively, they play good football as well. So the game's going to be competitive, and it's late for Miami.
They're up at that time anyway.
Their clocks are going to be way off.
And then here's the other part, Charlie. California's had 2 weeks to get ready for this game.
Right. They had a bye week last week.
Yeah. So
game day atmosphere.
Game day atmosphere.
You wonder how much of that atmosphere, what's game day gonna look like at California when they come on at 9 a.m. Eastern time? So it's 6 a.m. out there.
I was thinking it's gonna be a weird game day crowd.
It's a long day of partying.
It feels like they need to have this one indoors in the gym because it doesn't feel like it's gonna be that many people up. And
they'll be up though. I mean,
essentially would be 6 o'clock in the morning, I guess.
Yeah, yes. Which means they'll have to get there at like 5.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. But should be interesting.
Because I just feel like it's gonna be a raucous crowd.
Yeah.
Has Miami have really? What's their road games been so far?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm on them right now.
Okay.
Because I don't think Miami has faced that kind of a crowd yet. No, I mean at Florida, and that's
not really a home. That's not really an away game.
To open the season it is, and then at South Florida. So yeah, they faced this kind of crowd. But it's gonna be different out there. It has a feeling of upset written all over.
I think in that Miami Florida game there were as many Hurricane fans there as there was Gator fans. Gator fans don't have a lot of hope.
I think the Gator fans want their coach fired anyway, so they was happy to see the result.
Exactly. So
I just feel like it's gonna be an upset. What do you think?
It feels very.
And Miami is due to do.
All go on that train
Miami
together.
Is due to Miami.
Yeah. All right. Well, in the I Believe game this week, your choices are Tennessee and Arkansas. Only because it's at Arkansas, and we all want to believe that Tennessee's for real, but this is also the kind of game that Tennessee will lose historically.
Historically, Tennessee will lose to Georgia. They'll be fine. Historically, Tennessee will get blown out by Georgia, but they'll be fine this week.
Right. Missouri and Texas A&M. I think this might be our only true top 25 matchup. I guess we'll find out a lot about Missouri. Is Missouri for real or not? And then, of course, the two games, Ravens and Bengals. The Bengals in pure desperation mode at this point because they're already looking on the outside looking in. They lose this one, they may be making some deals at the trade deadline. Before the trade deadline.
You might see Jamar Chase out of there.
Yeah, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, they may be gone. This could get interesting if the Ravens of this past Sunday night show up for this game,
or
this
past
could get
2
ugly
weeks.
real fast.
Ravens last 2 weeks.
Yeah, this could get ugly real fast. And then the final game to select is your beloved Cowboys versus the Steelers, the Sunday night game. Both teams, I would say both teams need a win. I would say the Cowboys need a win.
Cowboys need a win. Steelers are fine.
Yeah. By the way, I want to ask one Charlie Ward this question.
I love Charlie Ward questions.
Justin Fields pulls this off.
He should be the quarterback, I think, for the duration, unless he gets hurt.
So do you keep Russell and because Russell's not a malcontent. The one thing that's cool about Russell, he's not a malcontent. So he's not gonna.
And you're not paying him, so you
not keep him or anything. Yeah, he's probably the perfect mentor for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, and also Russ has to understand, which hopefully he does at this juncture of his career. If you get a chance to play, that's great, but you were injured and they have a guy that's performing at a high level that's a starter. It's not like Justin Fields is a backup.
Right.
Playing. He's actually a starter.
Yeah.
And so, I think at this juncture, he should be willing to play the backup role, especially in this stage of his career. Of course, we all want to start, but you have someone that's helping the team be successful start of the year, and he's playing at a high level, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to keep him in there.
Plus, Charlie, you don't have to look any further than the Dolphins. I mean, Tua goes down, and their season is just about over. If Justin Fields gets hurt, you're bringing in a Super Bowl winning quarterback to lead the team. So to have a quality backup is so important in the NFL these days, and you have to keep Russell Wilson. I don't think you have a choice there, especially when you're not paying him.
heard a lot of rumors here recently about Russell Wilson trades for him. And I think mainly because there are some coaches that are out there that are trying to keep their jobs, and they know they may be a quarterback away, and having a Russell Wilson's quarterback play would at least make their team.
If you're the Dolphins, yeah, you're throwing everything at them. They're trying to get right now.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, but I completely agree with you, Charlie. I just don't see how you can at this point make the switch. Like, Justin Fields has done nothing. Even in his mistakes in the last game, he played ridiculously well to get them back in that game. Like,
and Fields seems like he's developing that chemistry with Pickens.
He is. He absolutely is.
And if that chemistry right there develops, I mean, that's a lethal 1-2 punch right there. And we talk about Lamar and Derrick Henry back there, Fields and their running back there. I don't know his name is from Alabama.
Najee.
Yeah, Najee. I mean,
you're not here.
It's not quite Lamar and Derrick Henry, but it ain't far from
it.
So I mean, Pittsburgh got some pieces, as much as it pains me to say it.
With all due respect to your Cowboys, it may look like that this weekend. It's possible that it'll look like that this weekend. So I believe in this weekend. Who do you believe in the most?
Who do you believe in, Charlie? Let's let Charlie go first.
Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Texas A&M, Ravens, Bengals, or Cowboys, Steelers?
I'm going with Steelers.
You going Steelers?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I don't blame them. They're playing at home, and you don't never know what you're getting from Dallas. I mean, they should totally be out. Well, they have at least inquired about Devontae Adams, and they desperately need him, especially with Cooks out. But
he won't be playing this weekend.
I was going to say, it's Thursday. They didn't make the deal, so we ain't going to have him this weekend anyway. So
he has a hamstring injury.
I'm because my coworker, he loves, the DraftKings and all that stuff, and I've always advised him to stay away from Cowboys games because they could show up and look like world beaters, or they could show up and look like Shawnee High School. And so I'm gonna go. What's the college game? Because the Ravens Bengals game scares me.
Tennessee, Arkansas, and Missouri, Texas A&M.
Give me Tennessee.
Tennessee, playing it safe on this one.
Yep, I'm laying it up on the golf course.
Taking the par.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Ravens on this one. I'm gonna ride the hot hand. I just don't know who's got it. I don't think the Bengals can turn it all around that fast, and I've seen nothing from their play that suggests that they can stop the Ravens in any way.
For all of those reasons is why it scares me, because the NFL.
Well, listen,
the NFL is the most unpredictable league there is.
Without question. But if you look at the 4 games that they've played, they've actually been the most consistent team, other than week 1, which they didn't, for whatever reason, they decided they weren't going to run the ball, or they hadn't figured out that Derrick Henry played for them.
I think the first 2 weeks of the season was just them getting their footing.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure it all out, but they got to figure it out now. Let's be clear.
Yeah, they figured it out.
The machine is working, so I'm going to go Ravens on that one.
Real quick, Charlie, can I ask Charlie something real quick?
Absolutely.
Real quick, Charlie, because like they kept talking about at the beginning of the season that Derrick Henry's not used to running out of the shotgun, and when you're that good and that big, does that really matter if you're getting it out of shotgun or if you're just getting it out of the quarterback being under center?
No, I don't think so. One of the things that I think I saw them make an adjustment was they put him in pistol, which gives him more of what he's accustomed to, which is getting downhill right now. And so you saw him doing a lot of that. They also, they have a good fullback, so they use a lot of 2-back looks, I formation, and just handed it ball to him. And, they had their double teams on, the inside. and then they had a lead back on top of that. So they've I mean, it's just like any good coaching. You find, what guys do well, and you can't determine that, after the first game, because a lot of times they don't have preseason to try to figure it out. And then you have to navigate your way through the first game and then the second game. But they seem to have figured out like a good scheme, using their personnel to be able to get him, the looks that he needs. And they've kind of, like I said, they I think they had a little bit of that last year, but it's still Derrick Henry type offense, I formation, going downhill, whatever that looks like,
and getting him a running start is scary.
Yeah, he's a big
and I think because the reason why I ask is because they made such a big deal out of it early, and even during the Dallas game, they was making such a big deal out of him, Lamar being more of a shotgun and Derrick Henry's usually quarterback being under center. And I'm like, when you're great, I think you can make that adjustment.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry's great.
Didn't he score? Wasn't that how he scored on that first play? Was that not? I thought that was out of. I can't remember how they started.
They've toned down that narrative now because they're winning, but like early on, and they just kept harping on it. I'm like, I don't think that makes that much of a difference.
That's the other thing that bothers me is like when you're losing, they always try to find something to blame. And when you start winning, you may have just done one or two things a little bit better here and there.
Right. That had nothing to do with the formation.
Right.
Like the linemen started performing better or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like people started sticking on their blocks, or I'm like, man, it's not even. I mean, yes, we can analyze but trying to blame such and such. No, I mean, they may not have been blocking very well, or
right.
It's not the formation, it's not the coaching, it's not, everybody trying to blame somebody when things aren't going well. And I'm like, man, it just may be a little bit of execution.
Yeah.
It could be just as simple as, teams tend to get better as the season goes on.
It doesn't have to be complicated analysis. That's
It's not rocket science.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to give a melancholy, to borrow from PTI, a melancholy happy trails to the great John Amos. And well, first John Amos, just simply for selfish reasons, because he was the black community's dad for so long. Before there was a Bill Cosby, there was a John Amos.
It was only on Good Times for one season.
Right?
It was only on Good Times for one season.
Right. Well, no, it was two. It was 2.5.
I think it was one. It was 1 or 1.5.
No, he made it to 2. He made it to 2, barely, because there was conflict. As you know the story, it was a lot of conflict. But he was our guy for a long time before the great Bill Cosby came along.
I'm still scared of John Amos.
Listen.
I want to make that man mad.
Episode where the friend came over to the house and he was behind. And I was like, ooh, John Amos is rough.
Yes.
And of course, we can never forget the great McDowells and the Golden Arches.
We've got the Big Mick.
We've got the Big Mick. My buns have no seeds. Just some great classic.
He's got his own money.
Right. And then selfishly, let me just tell you, as big a fan as I am, to me, his greatest work, the black community doesn't even recognize, which is done in the West Wing. He was brilliant on the West Wing. If you never seen it, you should go back and watch him play.
He was good in so much stuff. He's such a great actor. Because we watched a lot of the reruns of 2.5 Men, and he was on there for a couple of seasons, a couple of episodes on there.
He can do everything.
He can do comedy.
Roots. We can talk about all kinds of stuff. So great guy. And then of course, we have to give also a melancholy love to the Dikembe Mutombo, which I have to believe, Mr. Charlie Ward, you had a chance to meet this gentleman, I'm sure.
You played against
no humble flex. No humble flex
on
this one. No. From the outside looking in, he seems like the consummate gentleman and professional and just an all-around good guy.
Yes, he was. Actually played against him and then played with him the latter part of my career with the Knicks. He was there, and also he was in Houston with us as well. So, Deke was a joy to be around. He was funny, very funny. The accent in general just was funny. But he has a great sense of humor, and just a genuine, nice guy. Like, everyone loved him. He had a heart for people. He invested in people. And so it's just sad to hear the news. But, when it's all said and done, when it's your time to move on from earth, one, you want to be with the Lord. But secondly, you want to be able to leave a legacy of, giving, and people remember you for all the acts of kindness, and that's him. Like, he helped so many people achieve their goals, especially in his country, Congo. So he was an ambassador for the NBA, for NBA Africa as well. And so all those things, that's who you want to be, as a person. And so he'll definitely be missed, but definitely not forgotten.
If you want to hear just the greatest cosign of what Charlie just said, go listen to Shanae Agumake, go listen to Masai Ujiri, and there are several others out there, Joel Embiid. They've all talked about they would not be here doing what they're doing at all had it not been for Dikembe Mutombo. He was a phenomenal. It turns out he's also not just a great basketball player and a great ambassador, but a hell of a mentor as well. And they all speak glowingly. Listen to Masai Ujiri was heartbreaking because you could tell that brother was just feeling it. So just we will miss Dikembe. And then we also lost the great Pete Rose, which that was for us that love baseball in the 80s, 70s, and 80s, especially in the Louisville area. Yeah, that was our guy. Pete Rose was our guy.
Yeah, so, Big Red Machine was just right up the street.
Big Red Machine, man. So it's weird to live in a world. And I'll just say this on a personal commentary, and I won't even attribute this to Kendrick or Charlie if they don't want it. This is just me, Lloyd. It is shameful that this man didn't get in the Hall of Fame, especially when now betting is a thing and it's everywhere. And yes, he should not have bet on the games. We get it, all of those things. But what he did as a man, if we're going to do that, then let's do that for everybody in the hall.
Right.
In every hall.
Right.
I'm a Giants fan. And I'm a diehard Giants fan, and I can't look anybody in the face and say that Lawrence Taylor is a moral, a person that I should have been following morally. So if we're not judging everyone on those standards, then we should judge no one on those standards. It's what you did on the field, it's what you did in the game, and that's what qualifies you for the Hall of Fame. That's it. If it's a moral thing, then let's call it something else.
I think the thing now is, which is to me is crazy, is he'll probably end up getting an opportunity.
Which is sad because he should have been able to stand at a podium.
In the Hall of Fame.
I think if he had the opportunity to get in, I think he would have stood at a podium and not only accepted his position to get in, but also publicly apologized for what he did. I think he would have. Because I think go ahead.
And he did publicly apologize.
He has.
I think a part of it was too because he initially denied it, which obviously it was proven that he wasn't telling the truth at that point.
Sure.
But I mean, for what he meant to the game, especially in the 70s. I mean, Charlie Hustle was baseball. My first memories of baseball. Right, exactly. And it's like my first memories of baseball are really of Pete Rose. And like and like the crazy thing is because the way times are, most likely the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be sponsored by FanDuel.
Right. For DraftKings, right. To me, it's just ridiculous to have Hall of Fames that don't include the greatest players of all time. That just seems stupid.
Right. And baseball is really stuck in that now with him, Barry Bonds, Roger
I was
Clemens.
thinking the same thing. Like we didn't see Barry Bonds play, like we didn't see Alex Rodriguez play, like we didn't see Pete Rose play. We saw it.
And
you can't take that away from them.
And at this point, if you want to hold the steroid thing against them, all of them were on steroids at that time.
Right. And that's the hypocrisy of baseball.
A level playing field.
And that's the hypocrisy of baseball that frustrates me because I want to attribute this to Kendrick or Charlie. This is just me. But are we all going to look at baseball and say Pete Rose was the only one that bet on his game?
Right.
Just say it.
Right.
Charlie Hustle. I mean, that's still one of the greatest nicknames ever. Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Hustle is a great nickname. Shout out to the great E42 who stole it. But anyway, okay. With that being said, shout outs for the day, guys. Who you shouting out?
I'll do it real quick. Have a melancholy shout out. I have a personal friend of mine from high school passed away, Curtis Ford. Great guy. Later, he went to culinary school later in life and became an excellent cook, an excellent chef. Nice. He loved having cookouts and having all of us Fern Creek alum. And I was able to go to one of them in Cox's Park. Just a great guy. He passed away from pancreatic cancer. And so we just had his funeral a couple of days ago. So melancholy shout out to him. Great guy. Always one of those guys that just made you laugh instantly. You just smiled whenever he was in the room. And so great big shout out to my guy, Curtis Ford.
All right. Charlie.
I don't know if I shouted out our daughter Hope. She does Halftime and Harmonies, KTCU, every Thursday. So tonight she's on once again. And it's a good mix of music history, along with some sports. She throws in her sports analysis as well.
Yes, she does.
So if you're able to tune in, it's very interesting.
Are we going to get a Hope sighting here on BLEAV?
We need Hope. We need some Hope back.
Sighting at some point.
Yeah, we can work to make that happen.
All right.
Figure out her schedule.
Here, you know.
Yeah, I love the Hope shout outs.
We love Hope shout outs.
I love the Hope shout outs because she's always accomplishing way more than I ever will.
Also,
girl, something else. She's gonna be president one day. When
she's gonna be great.
When she decides to run for president of the United States, Hope he's gonna win.
The future definitely looks bright. I want to give a shout out to an actual sports shout out. I want to give a shout out to Jaden Daniels.
Yes,
young man rumble. My
young man,
God.
you are a young man. Stop playing like a 10-year vet.
Listen, let's just give the number of all numbers. Currently at 82% passer completion. 82%.
And he's throwing it like 25, 26 times.
And he's not dinking and dunking either.
He is slanging that thing and putting it in spots and nice little.
Was LSU bad last year?
I don't know. The more I see Jaden Daniels play, and then Malik Neighbors, the more I go, Brian Kelly, you might lose your job, bro. Like you can't keep doing this.
Was terrible though.
Yeah,
they would have had to been terrible because the offense couldn't have been.
The offense was cool. It was just defense.
Wow,
that was porous.
Well, Jaden Daniels is definitely not the problem. He is amazing.
LSU alumni friends, yeah, they're already ready to cut the cord on Bryant. They wasn't big fans of that hire in the first place, and so I think they should give him more time. But LSU is a different animal.
Yeah. Well, listen, this kid.
We keep going back to this deal, man. We keep cutting the cord on coaches 2 years.
I agree.
3 years, and then we're starting over. And then we just keep cutting the cord because the guy, whoever it may be, comes in and doesn't meet the expectation of what everybody expects them, and then they cut the cord again. Right. And so I'm like, man,
LSU does that.
We're just gonna just give people opportunities, especially if they're having some success on the other side of average.
Yeah, LSU they're known for letting people go really fast.
They don't have a lot of patience.
They don't have a lot of patience down there.
They don't have a lot of patience there. It's just I just want to get that kid a shout. I'm so impressed. And every time I see him throw a touchdown, I just think, wow, we should have pulled the trigger on that trade.
I kind of feel like that Washington might win the division this year.
I don't kind of feel like anything. I don't see a path for them not to win it.
There's a path.
Who's going to stop them?
There's a path because at some point he can revert to being young at some point, but to me they're the most impressive team in the division right now.
Right, and it's not close right now.
It's not close.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know what's going on with Philadelphia.
Yeah,
because they've
got the irony of where they are right now is that
there's players hurt. Some of their main guys are hurt.
Yeah,
on offense anyway.
The irony of Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors is that somebody from LSU is probably going to win Rookie of the Year.
Right. Probably Jaden because Malik's hurt.
Well, Malik will be back though. Like he'll
though. You never know how many games he's gonna miss, and then Jaden's gonna keep lighting.
He's gonna light it up. He's lighting it up.
and if it's a quarterback that's balling, they're gonna win the Rookie of the Year anyway.
Yeah, it's insane. So anyway, well that's us right now. We've done what we're gonna do today. Our departing question when we come back on next Thursday, Devontae Adams will be.
I think he'll end up being a Jet.
Somewhere other than where he's currently.
Look how matter of fact he said.
Somewhere other than where he is currently.
I think.
Is there a wild card team? Is there a wild card team? My wild card is the Ravens.
The Ravens?
You
said the Ravens?
Yeah, that's my wild card. That they just go all in and say, why not?
Him and Zay Flowers and then Derrick Henry and Lamar, and then likely because Mark Andrews is basically just an offensive lineman at this point.
Because doesn't Devontae Adams going to the Ravens all but guaranteed? Like that shoots the percentages from 45, 50% to like 70, 80% of them going to the Super Bowl. Like you don't have an answer now. You won't have an answer if Devontae Adams goes there. It's over.
The Chiefs are in play for Devontae too. So.
Yeah, I was going to say the Chiefs probably going to make a play now that Rice is out.
I would, but I can't imagine. I just can't see them. I can't see the Raiders trading him
within the division.
In division. That's the only issue with that.
I'm with you on that.
I agree.
Yeah. I like the fit with the Ravens. I don't know what the Ravens have to give to get him.
But are the Raiders in contention?
Second round is enough to get the conversation started, though.
Charlie,
just look at the Raiders quarterback. No, they're not in contention.
So why would that be an issue? To trade them in their division if they're not in play?
Because you got to keep facing them, I guess, and you don't want to.
Yeah, because at some point, you hope your Raiders are going to get better, and you don't want to keep seeing this dude. Especially Mahomes, God, you don't want to see that.
I do.
I mean, listen, as a fan, listen,
that was ugly.
Wow, talk about stacking the deck, but
it's like Randy going to New England.
Yeah, but having said that, it feels almost inevitable that he's going to the Jets. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. But anyway, all right. We'll be back next week, and we'll have those answers for you and many more. This is Believe in the ACC. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Believe in the ACC with Charlie Ward, Lloyd Spence, and Kendrick Haskins. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share from the Noisemakers page on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and wherever podcasts can be heard. And join us next